I was a little disappointed in Dike, but I want to hold back a little bit on that disappointment because I still think that there is value there going forward to provide a different look at times for this team.
But are they just renting the spot until Mr. Balogun makes the big announcement?
I mean, so talk about anointing, right? I mean, it's as if basically he has a starting position. He has, the keys to the city and all the cities when it comes to America. No, I mean, just the decision, if it comes, and hopefully it does, because he is a good quality player. Just the decision is great. But then you have to actually get into it. And we have seen players that just because their pedigree was good doesn't necessarily mean they come into the national team and they live up to it. I hope that he does, because that is a position of need. But don't think for a second that others aren't going to challenge him, even with less pedigree or less experience going forward. But it's a good thing. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But it looks good for now, and we've wooed him to the extent that we can or even should. And now we'll see if all that wooing pays off with him blessing us with his presence going forward. Mosse, do you think that Balogun, first off, is going to say yes to the U.S., say yes to the dress, and secondly, is he going to live up to the hype?
Yes and yes. It's been interesting to contrast the approaches of the two countries, England and the United States, with regards to Balogun. I just think the U.S. soccer culture, it's more, this whole concept of dual nationals is more intrinsic to the culture. And so Americans are hyper aware of this stuff, and the U.S. is hyper aggressive in the way they go about it. While England, I don't know, they just seem to be taking this tact of, well, when we need you, we'll call you. And if you want to come, great. If not, then too bad. We'll move on to the next guy. I don't get any sense that Gareth Southgate is actively trying to recruit Balogun. So he's going to end up going where he feels the most wanted, which right now is clearly the United States. And yeah, I do think he's a very good player. I mean, watching the highlights from him in Ligue 1 this season with Hans, and even a couple of the games I've watched when they played the likes of PSG, yeah, he's going to provide an enormous boost. But it is interesting that the mere specter of him coming does seem to have lit a fire under Pepe, certainly, who I think was one of the big winners of this window, and certainly more so than Dike. And so, yeah, that could even have an added effect if not only you add a good player, but it motivates the other U.S. center forwards in the pool to perform even better.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops every week. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.